Um, there was nothing on the forum thread?
Yeah, I don't know if it's open meeting business or closed, though.
Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and push that. I do read the GitHub thing for fish sticks fairly frequently. So if you've got suggestions, problems, want to see something in there, push it to the GitHub page or the suggestions page for fish sticks, because I will see it and get it sorted into a list or a to-do list. And then I'm just going to push everything into version 17. It'll come out and it'll be wonderful and glorious and amazing. So if you don't have a GitHub account, I know you can talk to Cass, you can talk to me, and we can put in a suggestion for you just so I have it tracked. Because I know there's a lot of people who would just rather message me. If you message me, I'll forget about it. I seriously will. I've already forgotten about Bob's. I know he's told me like 3 times. So, yeah. You probably want a GitHub link. Ugh. Oh, she's already got one. Cool. But that's about it for me.
Would one need an account for that?
Yes. Which is why I said if you don't have one or you don't want one, you can send the suggestion to me or Cass and we'll take care of it.
Sorry, didn't properly hear that. But
I believe I can probably accept and relay suggestions as well. I have a GitHub account.
Cool.
So any of those folks, people, and you can, if you don't have the account, we can just enter it for you. No.
ETA. Yeah, I don't give ETAs, which is a problem that some people have with me. But if you go to the projects side of fish sticks, it'll show you all the to-do things and all of the things that have been finished and things that are in the works, and it'll sort them into a progress bar. So that'll give you a rough estimate like this. So from one end of the image to the other end of the image, we're about a third to a halfway through. So just know that some of those to-dos that are in there that are just like counted as 150 something, 1/70th of whatever the project is, might be bigger in weight than others. So one to-do list object could be much larger than another to-do list object. Jeez.
I think some of us know that these are Gants, so no worries.
Cool. And I refixed the webhook down in the Fishsticks console, so anytime I do push something, a GitHub webhook will post a message down there so you can see it.
Thanks for putting it out there.
Yeah. And whenever something major comes out, like I do the update plans, I obviously make a post on the Core Foundry and I try to post that where people can see it.
Anybody else have any issues or questions or anything about Fishstick specific? Now's the time, and you don't even have to get on GitHub. You can tell the author right here.
Mm-hmm.
What's the big part of 17 Megs would like to know?
This might take a hot second. A lot of what Fishsticks does behind the scenes requires a lot of file I/O, making transactions from reading to writing, that sort of thing. And the more that he does that, the higher chance you have for corruption, especially since most of the things that are done at command runtime. So if like 5 people do the same command and they all have to access the same file, that's grounds for utter destruction of the file. So the biggest side of version 17 is making so that all those file transactions are not done to a file, but rather a SQL database. So they're all done online, and you can't corrupt one that way. Yeah, part of that. The primary query sort of thing, the way that needs to be done was a dark cloud that has since been removed. Yes.
Yeah, for those folks that aren't in the know, a whole lot of what you see on the internet runs on SQL databases. And yeah, I would think it's MySQL, isn't it?
Well, yeah. When I say SQL, I mean my SQL.
But anyway, like I said, people that don't know any better, basically, SQL databases are the ones that persistently keep information. So the reason that we have forum posts from 2009 on our website is because they're still remembered in the SQL database for the forum. So it's just given Fishsticks this much broader memory and ability to check itself against the database. I think it's pretty cool. Can't wait.
But yeah, I'm trying to make 17 a gap update or a stopgap update, and I'm just going to make everything that I've been wanting to do. Anybody that has any suggestions, any concerns, everything is going into 17.
Can Fishsticks DJ my next party?
Yeah. Elcars has a system that allows people to build playlists inside the bot. So you run a command and you add the song that's currently playing to a playlist, and you can say play whatever the playlist is, and instead of you having to put in something from YouTube, it'll just do it for you.
Not saying we necessarily want it, but for a little while, King Steve had a bot on our TeamSpeak where you could build playlists on.
I remember that thing.
Yeah, it was on a web dashboard.
Yeah.
And he kind of got rid of it because I guess he thought people weren't really using it. But actually, those of us who did use it really, really liked it. So just throwing that out there. Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there.
Now, a web console might be a little far at the moment, but I mean, I can make custom playlists work because I've already done it. Not on Fishsticks, but I have done it.
Well, anybody else have anything else they would like to know or ask or suggest about Fishsticks specifically? Max, no. No, we will not. Alrighty. Does anybody have any other open meeting businesses at all? It can be anything. Disco Man.
I noticed that we cannot register new accounts on the forums. Is that going to be changing anytime soon in the works?
Well, actually the registration should be open at the moment.
Huh. It wasn't yesterday or the day before. I can't remember which.
Right, it was unlocked last night when I found out.
Nice.
Yeah, the great bulk of the last several weeks, I guess, when the forum registration is unlocked, we get a large number of bots and so on. When it's not locked, no problem. And we get so few people asking to register. And I think the last couple who registered actually thought they had to do so in order to be considered for membership. And I think we need to make it clear that forum activity is not really a thing anymore. But yeah, I'm actually gonna toss out the question that should we freeze forum registrations forever, because our forums at this point are basically a museum piece. Great to read, great to look at, but we really don't have anybody posting anymore.
Yeah, I was curious on a scale of 1 to Corpseified and Gross how dead it was.
How dead the forums are?
Yeah. I'm assuming extremely.
Yeah, buried really, really deeply with an oak tree growing on it dead.
That's advanced.
Fully
There have
Corpseified
been-
and Gross.
Yeah, there have been a few occasional like serious topics that have been posted for like debate and stuff, but they don't really seem to get much traffic. And Other than that, it's just meeting business pretty much.
To explain the questions that are coming up, it's not that we're talking about closing the forums down. We're talking about allowing people to register new registries to the forum. Because
do. Sorry.
No, go ahead, go man.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I do know that there were a couple people, not only the person I think it was yesterday, but also I think someone before that who was asking about registering for the forums. I don't know that we have enough critical mass to keep them engaged in the forums, but I mean, if we are getting people that are interested in participating there, I don't know how that would go.
I guess what I'm saying is sometimes you go to websites and they'll tell you, there's all these functions that different things do, and at some point, as things go on, this happens with operating systems and everything else. Eventually, they get to the point where they say such and such is going to be deprecated. And what I'm saying is not to deprecate the forums as a whole. We can still refer to them. We can still freely look around them and everything. What I'm saying is deprecating new memberships and new signups, because nine out of every 10 signups now are ad bots, and it actually requires someone to go and actually delete those bad posts, corn posts most of the time. Sometimes it's shoe sales, and then ban the bots that got on in the first place. So. It is shut down, Doctor. I mean, it really is. I could give you some statistics if you like.
When was the last post that wasn't related to council operations or meeting business?
Very good question.
Chris occasionally posts his chapel notes and asks for feedback. That's about it.
Now, the end of year, Grizz posted on the 22nd. Other than that, it's been the Bible study and Clarence posts.
Basically, Clarence is the only person that continues to post.
And then this ban appeal by, I don't know, this guy dug up a post from 2012.
Oh, well, we're doing that now, Migs. I'm not saying that we'd never allow somebody to register for it. I'm saying close it. Here, let me explain what I mean when I say close it. What I mean is right now, if it's closed, there's no button to register, which means that the bots can't register and they can't put advertisement posts out. If somebody wants to register on the forums, we can turn that ability on. They can register, and then we can freeze it again.
Yeah, if that's less work for you than managing spam bot signups, then
it's actually, yeah, I would rather people say, hey, could we unfreeze registration to let like a group of people register, than going on the forums 24 hours after porn bots have put 75 messages on the forums that have links in them, which has happened recently. People don't catch it because sometimes I catch them quick, but there's been some bad ones lately. Yeah, there is a way to put it in where they can only be allowed with administrator acceptance, but that again, that's kind of spammy. You'd be surprised how often bots sign up and wait for registration and approval. I'll get these notifications. It'll say 5 notifications, and I'll go and check the notifications, and it'll be 5 bots.
Could we like if we do that, would it be all right to put some kind of verbiage up on the registration or login page or what have you, that basically says that the forums have become invite only. Feel free to speak to a council member if you want to sign up.
Wow, I'm sorry, Gobi. I got some of that, but I don't speak K9, so I kind of missed parts.
I was just saying, like, could we put some kind of verbiage up that basically says the forums are closed, they're now invite only. Please reach out to XYZ person on the council for action.
We could absolutely do that, yeah. Basically, I just it took me a second to find some statistics, but just to give you an idea, let me see if I can pull them up now. Monthly statistics for user registration, just to give you an idea. It goes back every month of 2019, and I can look at it in different ways. I can look at every year the forums have been open and all that, but just for the year of 2019, we had 51 registrations in January. I can tell you that at least 7 or 8 of those were bots, at least. We have had 1 registration this month, and I'm pretty sure that was Tim yesterday or today. So I mean, we're way down. I can look up total posts per month and all these stats, and we've gone down precipitously since looks like February. Well, technically March. We had the same number of posts in January and February, and then half as many in March ever since. And again, most of these posts, I could actually tell you, all of the posts in March and April have been made by clearance. All of them. With the exception we mentioned a couple of minutes ago about the post from 2012 and Grizz's post. The rest of them have been clearance. So I don't want to see anything go away and so on and so forth. We have a lot of, it's been pointed out to me, we have a lot of really good stuff on the forums for people to see and stuff. So I'm not saying anything about shutting it down at all. Having said that, right now it is a magnet for bad stuff, and we just need to lock the door and make it invite only, like has been suggested. So that's all I'm saying.
You can actually go to the members list and click on the joined over to the right, and it'll bring up starting like May 25th, and you can see who's joined all the way back. Well, on the first page goes back to about the beginning of the year. There's very little activity, and most of them have been banned, or they join and they're inactive then.
Oh, very nice. I see what you mean. The very top of the page, the Tim is the only person that has joined in a little while.
Yeah. The other concern that I would have about that is just, at least Tim's situation is making me think of it, is a way to appeal bans and things like that. Is that something that we just aren't going to worry about anymore, or should we set up like a point of contact or a way to get in touch for situations like
that? Was actually a subject that came up amongst a few council members here a couple hours ago. We're going to discuss that because we realized kind of in passing, I think Sky had told someone we had a way to appeal a ban, and in fact we don't kind of have one. We used to have source bans for all of our game servers, so everything, every bit of data that we have for people to read that says anything about appealing bans is generally like a form you would fill out on our about page, or it was a source bans thing for the game server. We don't run the game servers anymore, so we haven't had source bans for years. We don't actually have a mechanism right now. So yeah, we're going to put something somewhere that's very obvious that says, if you want to appeal a Discord ban or what have you, then this is how you do it and who you talk to. But yeah, we figured out we don't actually have that right this second. So we're going to put something together.
Okay.
And apologies to anyone that thought we did have that mechanism, but we just don't right at the moment.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario at present, if someone gets banned on here, they can always post on the forums. But with that going away, that's a concern.
Yeah, I think most people who have been like banned from Discord for most of the time, they have friended a couple of people. In the case of the most recent ban, I believe he's friended like 5 or 6 people before he was banned. And he's already DM'd one of them, so.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I'd like to add something. I kind of joined in late here. In the case of Tim, I don't know if he had been banned beforehand or whatnot, but would there be a way to, not really announce, but let people know? Like in my case, if he were to message me again asking for an invite, how would I know whether or not I can or can't give him one? Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. I'm glad you asked the question. I think that's definitely something that we would probably be discussing to figure out.
You mean
Because-
like get a list of banned people?
Well, in the sense of what she's saying is like, for example, she's an EC right now, but any of our recognized or member people, they don't know that such and such, say Tim in this example, has been banned. What if he comes to them and says, hey, can you invite me back? I lost connection to the server for some way or whatever. And she brings him right back in, right past the ban.
Well, I mean,
Well, I don't have access to vouch for him, which I'm fine with. I'm not asking for that access. But I just happened to look at the forums today and noticed that his name was white, no longer red, and I don't know what happened. I'm kind of just now finding out that he got banned. But he had messaged me a while back asking for the invite again because he had said I lost the invite. And I thought nothing of it because people come and go. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
just don't want to inappropriately, myself or anybody else, re-invite somebody.
Yeah, it looks like Sky Ranger's really answering that better than I can.
Okay, I don't have access to the chat right now.
No.
We're driving on our way to dinner.
Okay,
I'll see if I
so-
can pop over and see it real quick.
one, we only use one invite, and if somebody gets banned, they can't come back to the server no matter what. So that's the first thing. Second, we shouldn't be using more than just that one invite. We shouldn't be generating new invites.
She did.
We should always be directing them to whatever what is it, neodiscord.cc gaming?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yeah, that's the one that we should be sending to people. If there are other invites, we need to clear those out. But I mean, what?
Sorry.
So basically, in this case, sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. If he were to, in this case, ask for one of the people he's friended to reinstate himself, he would then go to that hidden channel that only certain council members have access to for the vouching purpose, right?
Correct.
Okay, then I kind of retract or whatever my question about let's make sure we don't accidentally reinvite him because see
I
council
mean,
members
you
would know who
couldn't,
got
is what
banned
I'm
and
saying. You can't reinvite somebody who's been banned. If you kick them, then they can come back. But if you ban them, they can't come back unless you remove them from the ban list, and that doesn't happen. Really.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
No, that was a seriously good question, though. I'm glad that you asked it.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I should probably address a way for the ECs to know, at least. Like I said, the mods know, but the ECs don't have their own channel yet, etc. So.
Hey, Neo. Well, I guess this would be for everybody. So I just went back through the list. From January 2nd, we've had 56 people register on the forums. Out of it, I only recognize 4 or 5 names. And Silver is the only one that's actually a member since that time. And out of those 34, one of us is banned on the forums. And most of the rest of them are inactive and quite possibly could have been banned too. It just hasn't been turned red.
Right, a couple of people are still technically in the, I guess, in the application process, or came by and applied and left.
Yeah,
Like-
Ben was on there, and Tui, and a couple other people. I mean, I've seen them hang around in here, so they are around. So, like Joe down there, Toon Joe, he's one of them, but he hasn't posted anything on there.
Right, and like it says, he's never posted, so.
Yeah, so I mean, they post in here, so I mean, that's why the forums is everybody's talking in here.
Right, but again, I think that what we want to do is again not to freeze out the forums per se, but to freeze out registrations in such a way that we make it obvious that we're kind of a Discord centric community, but if you want access to the forums, it's absolutely no problem. You just have to, approach somebody, because if we leave the forums open to registration, everybody can register, and that's everybody now is porn bots and shoe sales bots.
Yeah, we basically banned 2/3 of everyone that's registered since January 2nd. That was our first registration of the year on January 2nd. So.
Yeah, and I would like to add, this is using various methods to like get around bots, and they just get smarter and smarter all the time. So it kind of doesn't matter if you put what are called, they have a thing called a honeypot, which is basically a trick that exposes whether it's a bot or a person. There are CAPTCHAs. There's all kinds of ways to catch bots, and they keep finding new ways to get around them. So it's easier just to say no new registrations. But yeah, I wanted to make sure everybody understood that before if I were going to lock it back down again. But that's up to what the community thinks. I mean, if people overwhelmingly don't want to lock up the forums, then no problem. What were you saying, Goatman? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, whatever's net reduction of work without reducing functionality, I think is best. So yeah, if it's easier for you to lock down the forums and we go invite only rather than having them open and having to deal with all that spam, yeah, I think we should do that.
Although I kind of resemble that remark, the whole TLDR thing. But yeah, basically, again, anybody that wants to go on and bring new posts into 4, please, no problem at all. You remember, it's one of your prerogatives, but nobody does. So why leave it open so we have the freedom to do so when the only people who are making use of the freedom are not people? Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. It's not hard to get somebody registered on there if they really want to. So.
Yep, not a big problem. The thing is, we don't want to, completely. We have the website. You still can do everything on the website. Once you're registered, you can still actively post on the forums now. Everybody in here can post on the forum, but we just can't. We just don't accept new registrations. That's all we're saying. Until or unless there's special cases. And those are few and far between. So, anybody have any other open meeting business? I don't want to beat that horse to death. It's already breathing. I will post some minutes, Houdini. Yes, they will not be exhaustive. They will only be highlights, and they will be on the ever-present forums. I sure will. Alrighty. Anybody else have any open meeting business for the evening? And by the way, thanks Global for looking that up, because I wasn't really looking at the join. And when you click on join like that, and it puts everything in a descending order like that, it's very, very informative.
Yeah, it makes it real easy. I think all members can see that.
I think so, yes.
I'm not even sure you got to be logged in to the actual website.
Okay, last call. Any other open meeting business? Alrighty. At this time, I want to thank everybody for coming out and just giving your opinion and stuff. And I would like to make a special hi to Everett, who's not here, Goatman and Megs, just for the kind of grace you were showing Tim and the way you were conducting yourselves in that conversation and discussion. We were I think everybody that's looked at that has absolutely no issue whatsoever with what was being said and shared, and actually we're kind of proud of you guys. Oh, Doctor was in there as well. I was skimming it when I got back, and it said you missed 400 something messages, and I was like, what? But yeah, just a shout out to these people who kept their cool and just did the right thing and spoke to somebody like, you know, in a good way. Applause. Take a photo, of course. And it's at this time, again, I'll thank everybody for coming out. And I just want to ask all of our leaders to go ahead and shuffle into the closed meeting section, and we'll take care of business, and we'll be done, and everybody will.
Why is the Hall of Aptitude below the meeting hall?
Things happen.
Somebody's a little click happy.